effective people-centered EWS demands bottom-up approach that is rooted in collaboration. So of course, this collaboration requires strong partnerships. So strong partnerships between local government, NGOs, academics, researchers, and the local community groups like the one that I am part of. As you can see from the slides, being community mappers, as I mentioned before, but also REDABUP, which is a similar community-based organization in Buenos Aires, Argentina. So I would like to say that these local hubs are key enablers of such collaboration and should be leveraged to incorporate local realities into actionable insights. Next slide, please. So an example of one of these collaborations is our work with Onicana, which in itself is a collaboration between two different universities, University of Libre in Brussels and ITC in the University of Twente. So Onicana is a Swahili word, which means to make something visible, to put something on a map. So basically the aim of the project was to highlight thermal inequality, specifically in informal settlements in Nairobi and Lagos. And so with this project, we wanted to highlight exposure, specifically heat exposure within these informal settlements as compared to surrounding formal areas. So we worked across 7 different informal settlements in Nairobi, Kibera, Mukuru, Kariobangi, Koriogocho, Pumwani, and Waruku. And with this work, we were able to highlight high heat exposure within these informal settlements. So because we worked across several different informal settlements, that means that we didn't only work with collaboration that was vertical, but also there was horizontal collaboration within different community-based organizations in the different informal settlements. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned before, we worked across different settlements, and in this project, we contributed directly to thermal exposure modeling so first, we worked on different workshops where we defined routes within our informal settlements. So the idea was that we were to use our local knowledge of our neighborhoods to define boundaries and routes within our settlements that carried across different varying environments. So with the help of researchers and our different organizations, we defined boundaries using a co-creation of developing data collection methodologies across these informal settlements. Next slide, please. So not only did we co-develop this methodology, but we also collected the data for this project. And so through the collaboration with the researchers, as you can see, these sticks, they are sensors that we use, local sensors, and then we place them on sensing sticks that we did within the communities ourselves. Throughout this project, we were able to track about 4,000 kilometers across these 7 informal settlements. So in the end, we were able to collect a very dense air temperature data, which formed the basis of the exposure modeling. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned before, towards the left, you see the data that we had collected in one of these settlements. This is the settlement of Mukuru, which is one of the informal settlements in Nairobi. So the researchers then characterized mathematically using remote sensing some other variables that they know are correlated to air temperature. So using this and the data that we had collected, we're able to train different machine learning models to predict air temperature in our settlements. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this was carried across all the different settlements. So in our case, we were able to contribute to innovation that was scaled across different settlements. Next slide. So why does this collaboration matter? I think it matters because such collaborations also has a global value. Not only does this work is not only for our local context, but we have created different methodologies and different knowledge that can be used across different sectors and across different, it doesn't have to be only heat, it can be for flooding, it can be for other informal settlements or other underserved communities.